Okay, so this is an example of using the scenario manager and goal seek functions on Excel. And this is the example on page 410, 411. It actually refers to the example that was originally described on 394 on markdown pricing. So I've actually just kind of copied a new version of this. I don't think we'll call it two-way, we'll actually just call it scenario. And the idea, this is what's sometimes called SID, steadily increasing discount model. And the idea is we're selling some product and it has a certain price and we have a certain inventory. And we basically have a certain time before we have to sell all the product. You know, the end of the season when we bring in the next set of products. So we have some summer dresses, and we need to sell them by the end of this season. And so we have these 50 days, and we've got to decide, you know, how long to maximize our profit. How long do we sell them at our full price of $70? And then how much do we mark it down first, the immediate markdown, and how much do we do a clearance markdown? And our scenarios here, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on these two variables here, the days at full retail and the immediate markdown. And what we want to do is we want to find the differing profits for kind of changing some of these variables. And we're just basically going to look at different scenarios. And what we have to do is we have to actually set up the scenarios. Scenarios. I've forgotten how to say that in English. So scenarios, days at full retail price. And we have intermediate markdown. And you can see, you know, if I change this to say only 20 days at full price, this would affect the amount of revenue we have for full retail sales, etc. And we could do by how much we change our markdown. Say we changed it down to 40%. We could see that this is going to impact our full sales versus discount sales. Okay, so let's just kind of reverse those changes. But let's just put this here. And again, let's just do Arial 12. Let's put these as bold. And we're basically going to have four scenarios here. We're going to have a 10-10 scenario, i.e. 10 days at full retail, 10% discount. 2020. $30, $30, and $40, $40. And we put in the values here. Okay, so this is just going to be 10. And then our immediate markdown is going to be 10%. And let's just make sure we're actually in the same formatting here. So we'll just call that 10%. And we'll change these to 20, 30, 40. And I'm just doing that. Percentage can be tricky because there's usually kind of a decimal like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 behind them. So if we get them wrong, then we're off by a factor of 100. Let's just kind of clear this, put this in a certain color. Let's just do light green, I think it's a beautiful color for this. Okay, so we have our scenarios up there. Now, we want to do to data, what if analysis, scenario manager. Okay, so we're going to add some scenarios. So we're going to add our scenario, which is 10-10. And basically, we're going to be changing these two cells here, because these are the ones that flow through to the model. And we're going to equals E2 and equals E3. We'll add this. And so we're going to add another scenario, which is going to be our 2020. And again, B7 to B8. And then we're going to do, unsurprisingly, F2 to F3. And then the third scenario, 30. And then equals G2 equals G3. And our final scenario, 40-40 equals H2 and H3. So we have our 4 scenarios here. And what we're going to do is we're now going to actually perform this analysis. So we're going to click on the summary button. And what happens here, it seems to have automatically, you kind of almost guessed that we're actually, what we want to do is our results are our total revenue, and we want to look at the different total revenue for these different scenarios here. So the idea, again, let's just to summarize, we have days at retail, intermediate markdown. We give 4 different scenarios using the scenario manager. And then we want to find the revenue for each of these scenarios, which is in C38. And we're going to have it in a scenario summary. Click OK. And here we go. This is what's in the book on page 411. And you can see here in this summary report, we have our kind of the values for the actual scenarios. So the 10 days, 10%, 20 days, 20%. And then we have the actual overall revenue. So we say that the 20 strategy actually, of these strategies, gives us the best revenue.